In the aftermath of the First World War, the skies above Europe were silent, but the minds of engineers and dreamers in Germany refused to rest. The Treaty of Versailles had stripped the nation of its right to build military aircraft, grounding an entire generation of aviators and designers. Yet, beneath that silence, ambition burned. Germany's obsession with flight would never truly die, and out of that defiance, a legend would eventually rise. A machine that would define air combat for nearly a decade, the Messerschmitt BF 109. The story begins not with war, but with innovation. In the 1920s, German engineers quietly worked in disguise, using civilian gliders and secret foreign partnerships to keep their aviation skills alive. One of these visionaries was Willy Messerschmitt, a young designer who believed that the future of flight depended on lightness, simplicity, and speed. He founded the Bayerische Flugzeugwerke company in Augsburg, where he experimented with sleek, streamlined aircraft that seemed to slice through the air like arrows. As Europe edged toward another great conflict, the newly formed Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, needed a modern fighter. The 1930s brought a new competition: design the most advanced single-seat fighter Germany could field. Companies like Heinkel, Arado, and Focke-Wulf all submitted prototypes. But when Messerschmitt's design, the Bf 109, took to the air in 1935, it outclassed them all. It was small, powerful, and remarkably aerodynamic. Every surface seemed built for speed. The Bf 109 was among the first fighters in the world to feature an all-metal monocoque frame, an enclosed cockpit, and retractable landing gear. Futuristic traits in an age when many aircraft still used fabric wings and open cockpits. It was a product of pure engineering efficiency. The narrow undercarriage gave it an awkward stance on the ground, but once airborne, it was a masterpiece of balance and control. At its heart was the Daimler-Benz DB601 engine, a liquid-cooled inverted V12 that gave the aircraft tremendous acceleration and a top speed that exceeded 600 kilometers per hour, faster than almost anything else in the skies at the time. The plane's armament evolved rapidly: machine guns in the nose, cannons in the wings, and later, a 20mm cannon firing directly through the propeller hub. It was compact but deadly, a knife rather than a hammer. The first time the world truly saw the Bf 109 in combat was during the Spanish Civil War in 1937. The Condor Legion, a German expeditionary force supporting Francisco Franco's nationalists, used the aircraft to devastating effect. Against older Soviet-built fighters, the 109 proved nearly untouchable. It was fast, agile, and rugged. The Spanish skies became its testing ground, and the lessons learned there would shape the Luftwaffe's tactics for years to come. German pilots returning from Spain spoke with awe of the aircraft's performance. It could dive faster than the enemy, climb higher, and turn sharper if handled with skill. It was clear: Germany now possessed the most advanced fighter in Europe. When World War II erupted in September 1939, the Bf 109 was ready. During the invasion of Poland, it swept the skies clear of the outdated Polish Air Force. The world watched as the concept of blitzkrieg, lightning war, unfolded. Tanks and troops moved swiftly on the ground, while the Luftwaffe dominated from above. In the chaos, the 109's reputation grew. For the pilots who flew it, the aircraft became more than a machine. It was an extension of their own instincts. In 1940, when Hitler turned his attention westward toward France and Britain, the Bf 109 would reach the height of its fame. As German forces surged across Europe, the 109 escorted bombers, strafed airfields, and dogfought enemy fighters in the skies above the continent. Against the French and British, It proved nearly invincible in the hands of experienced pilots. But it was over the English Channel that the BF 109 would face its greatest challenge, the Battle of Britain. For the first time, the Luftwaffe met an enemy that could match its skill and technology: the Supermarine Spitfire and the Hawker Hurricane. The two legendary fighters clashed in swirling battles that filled the summer skies of 1940. The BF 109 could outclimb and outdive the Spitfire, but the British fighter had the edge in tight turns. The outcome often came down to the pilot's courage and split-second decisions. German aces, like Adolf Galland and Werner Mölders, became household names. Galland, a charismatic commander, famously asked for a squadron of Spitfires when asked what he needed to win. Yet, even he admitted that the BF 109 was a pilot's dream: fast, responsive, and deadly. Its small fuel capacity, however, limited its time over England to just 15 or 20 minutes of combat before it had to turn back across the Channel. This disadvantage, combined with strategic missteps from the Luftwaffe High Command, contributed to Germany's defeat in the Battle of Britain. Still, the BF 109's legend grew. As the war expanded to the Eastern Front in 1941, the aircraft was modified and upgraded constantly. New variants like the BF 109F Friedrich and BF 109G Gustav improved its speed, firepower, and altitude performance. Against the vast numbers of Soviet aircraft, the 109 once again proved its worth. Pilots like Erich Hartmann, Gerhard Barkhorn, and Günther Rall achieved staggering kill counts. Hartmann alone scored 352 aerial victories, making him the highest scoring ace in history, all in the cockpit of a BF 109. The Eastern Front was a brutal, unforgiving battlefield. Temperatures dropped to 42 degrees Celsius, airstrips were frozen wastelands, and dogfights could begin just meters above the snowy treetops. Yet the BF 109 endured. Its engine started even in the bitter cold, and its rugged frame could be repaired in makeshift field hangars. Hartmann once described the plane as a loyal horse, responsive, graceful, and deadly when pushed to its limits. Back in Western Europe, the 109 was now being challenged by new Allied fighters such as the P-51 Mustang, P-47 Thunderbolt, and Spitfire Memke 9. The balance of power in the air was shifting. The Luftwaffe's once elite pilot corps was being worn down by attrition. Training times were shortened, fuel was scarce, and replacements were inexperienced. Even the best aircraft could not compensate for the decline in manpower and resources. By 1944, the skies over Germany were filled with American bombers, massive B-17 Flying Fortresses and B-24 Liberators, escorted by swarms of long-range Mustangs. The BF 109s scrambled daily to intercept them. In desperate defensive battles, they tore through bomber formations, but every mission took a terrible toll. The Luftwaffe was bleeding to death. Yet, to the very end, the BF 109 remained Germany's mainstay. It was continually upgraded, the BF 109K Kurfürst being the final wartime variant, capable of over 700 kilometers per hour. Even as jet fighters like the Me-262 appeared, the 109 continued to fight valiantly, flown by veterans who refused to surrender. By 1941, the war had spread across Europe and into the vast frozen expanses of the Soviet Union. The BF 109, now a proven machine of unmatched versatility, was thrust into a new kind of combat. The Eastern Front was unforgiving: endless skies, brutal winters, and sprawling battlefields that seemed to swallow both men and machines. Pilots endured sub-zero temperatures that could freeze engines before takeoff, yet the 109's rugged design often allowed it to start where other aircraft would fail. Its nimble frame and powerful engine made it ideal for the intense, low-level dogfights that defined the conflict. Aces like Erich Hartmann, Gerhard Barkhorn, and Günther Rall rose to prominence flying the 109. Hartmann, who would eventually claim 352 victories, described the aircraft as a trusted partner, responsive to every movement, almost as if it could anticipate his intentions. The 109 was not merely a plane. It was an extension of the pilot's senses, translating every command into speed, agility, and precision. In the chaos of war, it became a lifeline, a symbol of reliability amidst destruction. While the Bf 109 dominated the skies in the east, the Allies were steadily advancing in both numbers and technology. New fighters such as the P-51 Mustang and P-47 Thunderbolt challenged the Luftwaffe's supremacy. On the Western Front, German pilots faced increasingly sophisticated bomber formations escorted by these long-range fighters. Every mission carried tremendous risk. The air was filled with the roar of engines, the crackle of gunfire, and the ever-present shadow of anti-aircraft fire. The 109 could still outmaneuver many adversaries, but the toll on pilots and machines grew heavier with each sortie. The Luftwaffe's resource shortages became painfully evident. Fuel was scarce, replacements for lost aircraft were delayed, and training programs for new pilots were drastically shortened. In these conditions, even the best aircraft could not compensate for the lack of experienced men in the cockpit. Yet the 109 continued to fight, a testament to its engineering and adaptability. Each variant, from the Bf 109F to the final Bf 109K, sought to improve performance, increase firepower, and extend operational range, ensuring the aircraft remained competitive despite mounting challenges. The human stories intertwined with the machine's legacy were as compelling as its technical prowess. Pilots forged deep bonds with their planes, treating them with care and respect, knowing that survival depended as much on the aircraft as on skill and courage. Accounts from veterans often described the 109 with reverence, recalling how its responsiveness and balance could turn near defeat into survival, or how in moments of clarity amidst the chaos, the plane seemed almost alive, guiding them through perilous skies. By the mid-war years, the Bf 109 had witnessed some of the fiercest air battles of the 20th century. Over the cities of Britain, it had clashed with the Royal Air Force in the legendary dogfights of 1940. Over the steppes of Russia, it had engaged thousands of Soviet aircraft in a brutal, relentless campaign. Over Germany itself, it became a last line of defense against the relentless Allied bombing raids, scrambling repeatedly to intercept massive formations of bombers and their fighter escorts. Each engagement tested the limits of pilots and machines alike, and each victory, however small, reinforced the legend of the Bf 109. Despite these challenges, the plane's influence extended beyond the battlefield. It became a symbol of German engineering, admired even by its enemies. Allied pilots who faced the Bf 109 in combat often spoke with grudging respect, acknowledging its speed, agility, and firepower. The aircraft's ability to adapt to different theatres of war, from the deserts of North Africa to the frozen forests of the East, highlighted its versatility and resilience. In many ways, the Bf 109 was more than a fighter. It was a reflection of the ambitions and ingenuity of its creators, a machine designed not just to fight, but to endure. As the war drew toward its final years, the skies over Europe changed dramatically. Jet-powered aircraft like the Me-262 were introduced, signaling a new era in aerial combat. Yet the Bf 109 remained in service, its legacy unbroken. Veteran pilots continued to fly it, relying on their experience and the aircraft's proven capabilities to defend their homeland. Even as the Luftwaffe's dominance waned, the Bf 109 proved that design excellence and human skill could leave a lasting mark on the history of aviation. In reflecting on the story of the Messerschmitt BF 109, one realizes that its legend is not built solely on victories or numbers. It is the combination of innovative design, relentless adaptation, and the courage of the men who flew it that has made this aircraft an enduring symbol of World War II. Across decades, historians, pilots, and enthusiasts have continued to study and admire the 109, ensuring that its story is told not just as a tale of war, but as a testament to human ingenuity and determination. As 1944 arrived, the war had shifted. The Luftwaffe, once a dominant force in the skies of Europe, was now struggling under the weight of attrition and overwhelming Allied numbers. Yet the Messerschmitt BF 109 remained the backbone of Germany's air defense. Its pilots, many of them veterans who had survived countless dogfights, continued to rely on the aircraft's agility, speed, and firepower to protect their homeland from relentless bombing raids. The introduction of long-range Allied fighters such as the P-51 Mustang changed the game. No longer could the BF 109 operate with impunity over occupied territories. Escorting bombers now meant extended flights across hostile skies, where fuel limitations and the ever-present threat of interception forced pilots to push both themselves and their machines to the limit. The narrow undercarriage, once a minor inconvenience, became a liability on worn-out airfields, and the aircraft's compact size left little room for error. Yet despite these challenges, the BF 109 continued to perform admirably, proving time and again that good design and experienced hands could overcome even the harshest odds. The final variants, particularly the BF 109K Kurfürst, represented the pinnacle of the aircraft's evolution. Every detail had been refined. More powerful engines, enhanced armament, and improved aerodynamics. It could reach speeds that rivaled even the new jet aircraft appearing on the battlefield. Still, even the best engineering could not compensate for Germany's dwindling resources and the sheer scale of Allied air superiority. Missions became riskier and losses mounted. Pilots flew with a mixture of resolve and resignation, knowing that every sortie might be their last. Yet within this bleak landscape, the stories of heroism and skill persisted. Pilots developed strategies to exploit the 109's strengths: high-speed dives, rapid climbs, and sudden turns, to catch enemy fighters off guard. Each engagement was a test of instinct, courage, and the intimate understanding of one of the finest fighters of the era. Veterans spoke of the aircraft as more than metal and machinery. It was a trusted companion, a machine that could respond to their every command in life or death moments. The BF 109 also proved its adaptability in other theatres of war. In North Africa, it faced harsh desert conditions, sand-filled engines, and the blistering heat, yet performed remarkably well against Allied aircraft. In the Mediterranean and Italy, it engaged in close air support and reconnaissance missions, demonstrating a versatility that few contemporaries could match. The aircraft's capacity to evolve, from its initial pre-war design to a machine capable of competing with cutting-edge Allied technology, was extraordinary. Despite the mounting pressures and relentless conflict, the 109's presence in the skies of Europe remained a symbol of endurance. Even as jet fighters like the Me-262 entered service, the BF 109 continued to fly alongside them, bridging the gap between the piston engine era and the dawn of the jet age. Its legacy was not simply one of victories or tactical brilliance. It represented the culmination of years of innovation, testing, and the unyielding spirit of the pilots who trusted it with their lives. As the war drew to a close, Germany's air force was exhausted. Fuel shortages, inexperienced pilots, and the overwhelming might of Allied air power meant that the skies once dominated by the Luftwaffe were now perilous beyond measure. Yet even in these final days, the BF 109 carried on, scrambling repeatedly to intercept Allied formations, It fought valiantly, often against impossible odds. In these desperate moments, the aircraft's strengths, speed, maneuverability, and firepower allowed pilots to achieve remarkable feats, even as the world around them collapsed. The human stories intertwined with the BF-109 are as compelling as the aircraft itself. Pilots who survived countless missions spoke of the bond between man and machine, a bond forged in the heat of battle, where every decision could mean life or death. It was an aircraft that demanded respect, precision, and skill, and those who mastered it earned a reputation that has lasted for decades. The 109 was not just a tool of war, it was a testament to the courage, ingenuity, and resilience of the people who built and flew it. Beyond the war, the BF-109's influence endured. It served in several post-war air forces, including those of Spain, Switzerland, and Israel, proving that its design was timeless. Aviation enthusiasts and historians continue to study it, dissect its engineering, and recount the stories of the men who flew it. The aircraft's legacy is woven into the very fabric of aviation history, not as a relic of destruction, but as a symbol of human innovation and the relentless pursuit of mastery over the skies. As the war finally drew to a close in 1945, the skies over Europe had changed forever. The Luftwaffe, once feared across continents, was a shadow of its former self, struggling to defend against overwhelming Allied air power. Yet, the Messerschmitt BF-109, in all its variants and adaptations, remained in the air until the very end. Its presence was a testament not only to German engineering, but also to the courage and determination of the pilots who refused to abandon the skies they had mastered. Even in defeat, the 109 inspired awe. Allied pilots respected its speed, its responsiveness, and the skill required to fly it effectively. Its performance in countless theaters, from the deserts of North Africa to the frozen forests of the Eastern Front, proved the aircraft's unmatched versatility. It was an aircraft that could adapt to any condition, endure punishing environments, and deliver lethal results in the hands of a skilled pilot. The BF-109 was more than a tool of war. It was a companion in the sky, a partner in survival, and a symbol of precision and design excellence. After the war, the Messerschmitt BF-109 story did not end. Some aircraft found new life in foreign air forces, including Spain, Switzerland, and even Israel. Pilots continued to fly and admire the 109 for its engineering brilliance and handling. Aviation enthusiasts and historians around the world preserved its memory, dissecting its design and celebrating its contributions to the evolution of fighter aircraft. Museums today display the BF-109, allowing future generations to glimpse the machine that once ruled the skies and defined an era of aerial combat. The legacy of the BF-109 is inseparable from the men who flew it. Stories of heroism, ingenuity, and survival are etched into every rivet and panel of its fuselage. Pilots like Erich Hartmann and Adolf Galland did not simply fly the aircraft. They mastered it, using every ounce of skill to turn desperate situations into legendary feats. Their courage, combined with the unmatched design of the 109, left an indelible mark on aviation history. These stories ensure that the aircraft is remembered not just for its capabilities, but for the human experiences intertwined with it. Moments of fear, triumph, loss, and resilience. Technologically, the BF-109 influenced generations of aircraft design. Its combination of speed, firepower, and maneuverability set new standards for fighter aircraft and provided lessons that engineers still study today. Its evolution, from the early BF-109E variants to the advanced BF-109K, showcases a constant pursuit of perfection, even under the pressures of war and scarcity. The aircraft was a benchmark for what could be achieved when engineering ambition met practical combat experience. In the broader scope of history, the Messerschmitt BF-109 represents more than just a World War II fighter. It embodies a period of rapid technological advancement, a time when air power began to shape the outcomes of wars and define national strategies. Its story reminds us of the intimate relationship between humans and machines, how innovation, courage, and skill converge in moments of extreme challenge. The Bf 109 is not merely a relic, it is a symbol of human ingenuity, a testament to the daring and resolve of those who flew into history at over 600 kilometers per hour, often with their lives hanging in the balance. Even today, decades after the last wartime flight, the Messerschmitt BF 109 continues to inspire. Its silhouette against the sky evokes images of dogfights, daring maneuvers, and the ceaseless struggle for control of the air. Aviation enthusiasts, historians, and former pilots recount its story with reverence, ensuring that each lesson learned, each daring sortie, and each moment of triumph is preserved. The Bf 109 remains a shining example of what can be achieved when human ambition and technical mastery meet, a true icon of the skies. In the end, the Messerschmitt BF 109 is remembered not only as one of the most formidable aircraft of World War II, but as a symbol of innovation, endurance, and the unyielding spirit of those who dared to dominate the skies. Its story transcends statistics and battle reports. It is a story of men, machines, and the extraordinary feats that emerge when they unite. For anyone who gazes upon its sleek fuselage, who imagines the roar of its engine and the thrill of flight, the Bf 109 continues to soar, a timeless testament to the golden age of fighter aviation and the indomitable courage of the pilots who called it home.